Hey, this is Dr. Willie Jolley. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. We're all in our places with bright, shiny faces. This is the way to start a good day. Are you ready for a great day today? Are you ready for a great weekend? Are you ready for a great rest of the year? Are you ready for a great rest of your life? Huh? If the answer is yes, then you're at the right time, at the right place, doing the right thing with the right people. And I am grateful for you being able to be with us today because we are here for you. We are excited about what you are doing, and we're excited about your future, your possibilities. And it's time for jolly good news. It's time for some good news. Are you ready for some good news? Well, good. Now, every week I start with, I have only just a minute. Only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me. I can't refuse it. I didn't seek it. I didn't choose it. But it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but our eternities are wrapped up in it. So this time, this minute, this moment, this opportunity to share with you some good news, Some good news for you and for your family. So I'm grateful. Now, I want you to do something for me. I want you to share it. See, I want you to start a watch party right now on wherever you are. Start a watch party. Number two, I want you to share it and like it and follow us. I want you to subscribe to this channel. Say, oh, I got to make sure I don't miss this. Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Dr. Jolly's got a message for me today that is specifically for you to get some good news. In a time of bad news, sad news, depressing news, despondent news, you need some good news. It's good for your spirit. It's good for your soul. It helps you be more successful, helps you be healthier, helps you be wealthier, helps you be happier. So good news, good news. So start a watch party, like it right now, share it, and subscribe to it. Be part of the family and get it to your friends and family members. Well, every week I tell you some good news, and I tell you about the fact that we're in the midst of a pandemic. And yet, with all the bad news, there's a lot of bad news. You turn on the television, you can't hear anything but bad news about the coronavirus, but there's some good news. Some good news. And I only focus on the good news. I focus on the good news every week. And the good news is that 40 million people 40 million people now are home with their families, have recovered. Oh, we know about the ones who have been sick or whatever. I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the good news that 40 million people globally are now home with their families, have recovered. And we want more to recover, and we want more to not have the illness in the first place. So we're praying, we're looking, we're hoping for some remedies, some vaccines to come soon, so we can get back. But until then, we're going to do what Dr. Fauci says. I'm a big believer in Dr. Fauci. I like Dr. Fauci because he tells the truth. He tells me the truth that you got to social distance. You got to put on your mask and you have to wash your hands. So I'm encouraging you because we want you to survive and thrive and win. So that's what we are grateful for. So good news. Now, I give you a good news story every week. And this is a good news story that I think will inspire you, encourage you. A survey of 2,000 adults globally revealed that more than a third had picked up and embraced new habits during the pandemic. 7 in 10 found new rituals that help them feel happy and secure. 65% believe that they now feel day-to-day has improved over these last few months. And 64% claim that they are exercising more. And 2/3 of those folks say their well-being has improved. And 65% also said eating a balanced diet has helped them through this time. The survey commissioned by a Japanese probiotic company also revealed almost 8 in 10 intended to stick with the changes they had recently made about exercising, eating more healthy, and making a point of making time for family. Baking and cooking from scratch also rose in popularity, with 1 in 4, including moi, introduced this new part of their life. I am in my 60s, and I have never really learn to cook. I never learned to cook. I lived with my mom till I was married, and then I lived with my wife from the time I left my mama's house. I got married and went live with my wife, and my wife was a great cook. I didn't cook, and I was busy building a company. But during the pandemic, my wife is a vegan now, and so she cooks for me, but I know that she's not eating what she's cooking for me. And I said, I'm gonna learn to cook some of the things I like. I've been searing salmon. Woo, it's so good. It's so good. Searing salmon, searing scallops. I've made tilapia. I've made catfish, broiled, baked catfish. Ugh, I've been cooking. I'm learning to become a cook. So, new habits that have been developed during this time. And then 31% developed a penchant for decluttering their home. They're cleaning up. They're not being pack rats like I have a tendency to be. My mama was a pack rat, and I picked it up honestly. And so I have, for the last few months, been throwing stuff out, giving stuff away. So we're glad about it. 18% of the respondents are claiming that they have a calmness in mind through meditation, mindfulness, prayer. So I think it's a great time to be prayerful. Look, Maya Angelou said it so wonderfully. She said, if there's something in your life you don't like, change it. But if you cannot change it, change your attitude. And so what we are learning now to do is change our attitude, because we cannot change the fact that there is a pandemic. And I like what somebody said, that whether we like the shutdown or not, we don't make the rules. Coronavirus is making the rules, is calling the shots. And so what we have to do is be wise and thoughtful and prayerful, so that we can survive through this, get to the other side of this, and get on with the new normal. There will be a new normal. We're not going back to the world as it was before the coronavirus. We will never go back to that. We will be doing more of these virtual events. We'll be having more programs right out of people's homes and living rooms that we've all gotten used to. We'll be using digital communications, where we used to have to fly somewhere to have a meeting. You're going to have a meeting here. I always had a conversation with my buddy Les Brown. He said, Willie, I don't ever want to get on a plane again. I'm speaking every day, and people are paying me, and I'm right here in my home. He said, I love it. I'm giving them a message. It's real time. And I've been doing more and more virtual speaking, a lot of events. I did one for the California Nevada Credit Union League. Hey, everybody, I told y'all to tune in. I did that earlier this week, and stayed around, and we had question and answer. It was wonderful. And I did it right from where I am right now. So I'm loving this. The fact that a couple weeks ago, Les Brown and I did an event in Australia, Sydney, Australia. Now, before, I've been to Sydney, Australia 3 times, and here's my pattern to go to Australia. I leave my home, let's say on a Monday morning. I get on in my car, or car service, and takes me to Dulles Airport, which is an hour away. I say I leave at 9, I get there at 10, and then I have a 2-hour wait till my flight. I fly from Dulles to Los Angeles, and then there's a 3-hour wait till the flight at 8 o'clock from Los Angeles, LAX, to Sydney. Then I'm in the air for 23 hours. So let's see, left my house at 9 to 10, that's an hour. 10 to 12, 2 hours. That's 3 hours so far. 5-hour flight, that's 8 hours. Then a 3-hour wait for the flight, that's 11 hours. Then I fly for 23 hours. That's 34 hours from leaving my house to get even to Sydney. Then I got to go through another hour, maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours before I get to my hotel after going through customs and all of that. So I'm on 36 hours from home to rest. I mean, real rest. And I slept on a plane, which was nice because they put me in nice travel arrangements, but it's still not that comfort of a bed. I love my bed. In fact, I'm going to be doing some shows on my XM show about my new bed. It's called an Airpedic. It's fantastic. And it's awesome. I have to tell you, you have to hear about it on my XM show, and I maybe talk about it later. But getting a good night's sleep in a bed that you really like is it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Anyway, but Les and I were talking about the fact that I didn't have to get on a plane to do this speech for the group in Sydney, Australia. I just had to get up late. I had to be up at 12:30. I started the preparation. I did the sound check at 12:30 for a 1 a.m. in the morning speech. I spoke for 90 minutes. And then at 2:30 a.m. in the morning, I was finished, went upstairs and got in my bed that I love so much. And so I'm saying that to say to you that the world will never come back to where it was before. So we've got to look for the new normal. So I'm excited about that. Being at home so much, going back to that survey, being at home so much and needing to feel more organized and control were the main reasons many of the people said they picked up new habits and rituals. And they are optimistic. And that's what I want to talk about. They have hope that the best is yet to come, that we're going to get better. And that's really what I want to talk about today. I want to read to you what we talked about last week. We talked about character last week. We had so many people who shared it and responded. I think we had the highest number of viewers we've ever had. And that's why I'm excited. We started with maybe 5 or 10 people who are watching this. But every week, I'm hopeful that we're doing this because we want to encourage people with good news. We want to encourage people and inspire people and uplift people. And I just want to be able to be a blessing to you. And many of people said, how can we bless you back? I said, just go to jollygoodnews.org. Jollygoodnews.org. Make a donation. I'm very grateful. We've had people make donations from a couple dollars to a couple $100. Then one gentleman made a $10,000 a donation. I said, thank you. Because what we're going to do is take those, I'm not getting a salary from it. We're going to take that revenue and we're going to buy TV time as well as, so we'll have terrestrial. That's where you get it on your regular TV or cable. And then we're going to also have online. And then we're going to put books, my book, A Setback, Set Up for a Comeback, into prisons. We're going to put my videos from my youth video into schools so that we will have, less and less young people. We're going to make this something that impacts people globally, but we're starting with America. We'll put it in America to put the books in the prisons, the DVDs in the schools, and find ways that we can encourage people. So go to jollygoodnews.org and become a partner with us. Make a donation, whatever the Lord lays on your heart. Just do whatever. If this was a blessing to you, then we'll bless others through your blessing that you'll give to us and your gratefulness. We talked last week about character, and we're looking at the book of Romans talks about character. And not only that, but we also glory in tribulations, knowing that tribulations produce perseverance. And perseverance produces character. And character produces hope. Now, hope does not disappoint, because the love of God has been poured out in our hearts by the Holy Spirit who is given to us. Hope. That's what I want to talk about today, hope. Because everybody needs some hope. Oh, you need hope. Hope. Why do you need hope? Because hope gives you an expectation of good to come. I'm going to read first something from my book. It only takes a minute to change your life. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. The substance of things hoped for means the essence of things that you dream and desire. And the evidence, the assurance, the confidence, the proof of things not seen. In other words, faith is trusting in things you cannot see, yet that you can see the results of. And many people doubt the existence of faith because they cannot see it. Yet they do not question the existence of electricity, which they cannot see coming into their home, but they can see the results when they turn on a light. They cannot see the wind, but they can see the results of a hurricane. They cannot see the radio and television waves, but they can see the results when they turn on the television and radio. Let's see what happens if I turn on a television and radio here. Turn on a television. What happens if I turn on a television here? Something will happen. Oh, here it is connecting, and then it'll come to be. Oh, I guess I got to press TiVo or live TV anyway. So well, let's do it. Let's see what happens. If I turn on, I just take on, boom, hit that and see what happens when we turn on the television. I can't see the television waves coming into our home, but I do know that there are television waves coming. Ah, there they are. There it is. Oh, hey, and then I can even change channels. I can go up, down. I can turn things around, all because the television waves came into. Isn't that amazing? So we can see, we can't see the television waves coming into our home, but we can see the results. Or we can turn on the radio and hear the radio, but we don't see where it comes from. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence, the proof of things not seen. Have faith. I like that. So let's talk about hope. Last Saturday after the show, in the morning, that afternoon, I was on the Legend Summit. I was honored to be one of the legends that was chosen to do this Legend Summit. And I was blessed by it. We had Les Brown, Brian Tracy, Bob Proctor, Dennis Waitley. We had Jim Cathcart, Mark Sanborn, Patricia Fripp, Mitzi Perdue, Mark Victor Hansen, Mark Brown. We had some of the greatest speakers on the planet being able to be there. Ford Sakes. I was just honored to be one of the speakers. And it was fantastic. Now, I was scheduled to speak at the end of the day, but I was wise enough to jump on at the beginning and listen to all the other speakers. Just keep my ear to that computer all day because I wanted to learn. I had my pad out. I always learn. I learned that those who are the most successful are lifelong learners. I remember Zig Ziglar used to come to all the seminars. And now Zig Ziglar, one of the greatest speakers, with a pad and a pen always, because he said, I'm in a learning mode always. Cavett Robert, who started the Speakers Association, would always be in a learning mode. He'd come to the seminars. When I'd come, I was a new speaker. He'd come and sit in the front row. Started the National Speakers Association, one of the greatest speakers on the planet. He'd always have a pad and a pen. The great ones are always taking notes. They'd never stop learning. They're never in a process where they know it all. They are learning and looking for that next nugget. Well, I wanted to be like that. So I got in on the early one and I took my pad out and I was taking notes. And my friend Les Brown gave me something that was so powerful. Now, I talk about hope. I talk about hope often in my presentations. But he gave it in an analogy in a way that really was profound. He said, hope in the future gives you power in the present. I love that. Hope in the future will give you power in the present. It goes back to what we were talking about, because not only we have tribulations, but perseverance that creates character, and character hope. A hope, an expectation that good in the future is coming your way. You know, hope is something powerful that you look to your past to give you some possibilities for your future. See, if you've never been through anything, how are you going to handle the next crisis? One of the things I talk about this whole pandemic, and I'm telling people, is learn from this. Look, be a good student during this time of this challenge, because this is not the last crisis you'll see if you live long enough. If you keep living, you're going to see some more crises. You know, I've been able to see crisis moments from the fact that in the 70s, there was well, really in the 60s, when I was a kid, there were the riots and the tumultuous 60s, MLK and John F. K. and RFK, the deaths, and Malcolm X, and all of the turmoil and all of the things like that. And then from there, we were able to see the 70s with the recession and being in a position when I first got I think in the mid 70s, I got my first little car. I had to line up to get gas on a certain day of the week, depending on your license tags. Wow. And then the 80s, the 90s, then 9/11 hit, and everything in the speaking business shut down. And then in 2008, everything went crazy. The boom of the burst of the economic bubble. And now we're in a pandemic. And what I've learned is every decade, there's going to be something. And if you live long enough, there are going to be more crisis moments. So what you got to do is keep going and learn from the last crisis. So there's something to learn. But we know that there are going to be some situations and some circumstances and some problems that you need to know. And I tell the story in one of my books about the 4 frogs. They took 4 frogs, put them in a bucket of water. They kept them there till their air was almost exhausted. And at the last minute, they pulled them out. Then they took those same 4 frogs, put them in a bucket of water, took 4 new frogs, put them in a separate bucket of water, and they kept them all there until the air was almost exhausted, and then they kept them there another minute. The new frogs who had never been through anything, who had never had any experience, who were newbies, gave up and died because they didn't know to hold on. They didn't have that skill set. They didn't have that muscle memory. But the old frogs who had been through something, had learned through that last experience, had some muscle memory, and had the willingness to hold on, and all of them survived. Not 1, not 2, all of them. So I'm saying to you, learn from this experience, learn from this challenging time. And so I want to give you some scriptural lessons about hope that inspire me to keep going, even in the tough times, even in the challenging times. In Jeremiah, the 29th chapter, it says, "For I know the thoughts that I have towards you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope." You got to have hope. And God's saying, I got you. I got you. But you just got to trust me. You got to trust me. And then there's 1 Corinthians. I love this scripture. Eye has not seen, nor ear heard, nor has entered the heart of man the things which God has prepared for those who love him. And the hope he's put in you, that if you would just trust him, that he's got good things for you. And then in Isaiah, I love this. I even have it up on my wall over there. You can't see it, but I have an eagle. You see, I got an eagle here. I got eagles all around. I got eagles. And that's because even youth will grow tired and weary, and young men will stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. And then one of my favorite of all time, I love this scripture. I love it. I just love this scripture. It is one that inspires me. It's Romans 8:28. For we know, that all things work together for good for those who love God and who are the called according to his purpose. For we know that all things work together for good for those who love the Lord and are the called according to his purpose. And so I dissected that one time and said, for we know. And how do we know? I love that first part. We could have just started the whole quote by saying, all things work together for good for them that love the Lord and are the called according to according to his purpose. But he says, for we know. Now, why did they put that in? Why is that even there? Well, the reason it's there is because for we know, from our past experience. You know things from what you've been through, what you learned in the past. You didn't learn it at that moment. For we know, you don't know something right now. You assume something right now, but you know something from what you've been through, what you experienced, what you've learned in the past. For we know that all things work together for good. The old folks used to say it like this: you'll understand it better by and by. You'll understand it better by and by. Now, how do you understand it better by and by? Because you have to mature to understanding it. We'll understand better what this whole experience is about. But just keep the faith. Be positive. Learn from it. Grow through it. For we know we've been through something in the past. So we've learned that. For we know that all things, not a couple things, not 1 or 2 things, that all things work together for good. I got fired from my job. I remember when I got fired from my nightclub job, I was devastated. I had a gut kick in, like somebody kicked me in the gut, that sick feeling. How am I going to pay my bills? This is all I know, to be a singer, a nightclub singer. For we know I get fired, that all things work together. I got fired and replaced. They told me about a karaoke machine. That all things work together for good for them that love the Lord. Well, I said, God, I don't know what this is all about. But I had to trust you. I'm going to trust you. I don't know what it was going to be, but I trust you. So, for we know that all things work together for good for them that love the Lord. I love the Lord. And who are the called? Well, I've always had this feeling that I'm supposed to inspire people. I'm supposed to encourage people. I'm supposed to uplift people. Went to seminary right out of college, trying to figure it out. But I got there and realized I didn't quite fit. I felt like a fish out of water because all the other folks there, they were preachers. They were pastors. I had no desire, no call, no burden on my life. I had nothing burning in my belly to be a pastor. What am I supposed to do? Why am I here? Just trust me. I went on through the process, got my master's in theology, and then went on to do what I love to do, which was entertain people and inspire people, and started singing in nightclubs and started winning awards. Best jazz singer, 1988, 98, 99, best male vocalist jazz, 1990, 91, 92. 5 years in a row, I won best jazz, best entertainer. And they said after 5 years, you can't even win anymore. We got to get somebody else a shot. And I saying, okay, I'm doing what I love to do. And then got replaced by a karaoke machine. What am I going to do now? Trust God. That's all I could learn was trust God. That's all I could hear was trust God. Trust me. Trust me. I think about it. I'm so blessed and grateful that I did. I decided one of the times when I was wise enough to listen to what God was saying and to trust him. And I trusted him. And he blessed me and he opened the door for me to get a job. I to this day know it had to be God. I did not send my resume when I was looking for a job after that to the Washington, D.C. public school. God called me and said, someone gave me your resume. And we're looking for someone just like you. We're creating a program to use kids to help become drug prevention participants. And we need a director. And your resume came on my desk. I didn't send it to this man. I didn't send it to anyone at DC Public School. Didn't even send it to anybody in DC. I sent it out to Montgomery County because I was trying to get a job out at the Montgomery County Junior College, community college. I don't know how he got it. That was the Lord. But he got it. I took that job. As part of my job, I had to start giving little speeches. And I found what I was born to do, what I was supposed to do. Speak and inspire people. Not preaching in the traditional sense. One lady actually wrote a doctoral dissertation and called Les Brown and me and Les Brown, the secular preachers who are changing the world. When I got wind of it, I got hold of it, I was blown away. So, hope. I want to encourage you to have hope because hope in the future will give you power in the present. I love that. I love that. So I want to encourage you to have hope. Be like those frogs. Hold on through this. Learn from this and grow from this. And as we learned in my good news story today, become better on the other side of this. Make the commitment that you will be better on the other side of this pandemic than you were at the beginning. I'm going to be a better chef. I'm cooking, cook my wife some dinner. I'm learning how to be more neat and declutter. I'm learning all sorts of new things. I'm learning about new technologies. I'm opening my mind to new possibilities. I want you to do the same. This is going to be a great time. It's good news time. It's jolly good news. Do me a favor. Share this with everybody you know. Just send this file out with everybody you know. Put it on LinkedIn if you're on, or wherever you are, on Facebook, wherever you are, share it. Hit the share button. So you got to see this one. Dr. Willie Jolley. And whoever sees it, share it with whoever you've seen it. Share it with others. And then go to jollygoodnews.org. Become a partner with us. We're going to take this to the world. Good news for these challenging, difficult, but hopeful times. Keeping hope, keeping faith. And remember, for sure, your best is yet to come. I want to thank you for your time today. I want to thank you for sharing this. I want to thank you for being with me. Let me know how you're liking it. Send me a note, info@williejolley.com. Info, INF as in Frank, O at WILLIEJOLLEY.com. Thank you so much. God bless you. And I love you. And nothing you can do about it. How you like me now? God bless you. Have a great day. And remember, your best truly is yet to come. Have a great day.